Hey everybody and welcome back. Today we're talking about one of the stupidest situations I've seen gone down in the past 24 hours. Basically, you guys know the whole Russia-Ukraine situation. Russia invaded Ukraine. It's a huge crisis. Everyone and their mother is imposing sanctions on Russia to, force Russia to back down somehow, right? Their economy is falling massively. The Russian currency is dipping. Everything is haywire. Now, Twitter decided to find the crux of the issue. Why is Russia invading Ukraine? Probably because of McDonald's. So Twitter is now trending with hashtag boycott McDonald's, and you might be wondering why. What did the fast food burger joint do? Well, not really anything other than what they already do. They just continued operating in Russia. They obviously have outlets in Russia, and they continued selling burgers there. So obviously Twitter is completely ultra mega delusional, and they're just like, I don't know the reasoning behind this. They're like, there's one class of people going, Russians don't deserve McDonald's, which is just like, what did the ordinary citizens of Russia do? Okay, they didn't actually attack Ukraine. Okay, I know some people are supporting their government and all, but some people just want to live in peace and chill. And then there's this other class of people saying that by McDonald's operating in Russia, you're supporting their economy and whatever, meaning like you're fueling the tanks that are being used to invade Ukraine. And that's got to be the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. So Russian citizen buys one Big Mac that is somehow fueling a tank, alright? In case any one of these bozos are watching this, you are one of the stupidest people I have ever seen in my entire life. Please do something useful with your life. So basically the reason boycott McDonald's is trending is because Twitter thinks it's going to save the people of Ukraine by boycotting McDonald's and, I don't know, thwarting their economy somehow. And I'm just gonna be straight up, McDonald's is a fraction, not even a fraction of a fraction. And I don't know how many sales they're making during these times. I don't think Russian citizens' prime focus now is ordering from McDonald's. Obviously the boycotts are all coming from Americans, right? Because Americans are using Twitter and they're like, oh my god, I can't believe McDonald's is operating here. It just shows the absolute disconnect between reality and a bunch of privileged little puss and Russians, Obviously, Americans would get mad about this, because if McDonald's closed down in America, hellfire would break loose, because they just order 7 days of the week, apparently. And that's one of the issues they'll actually care about, right? When they lose their access to burgers. Now, it's not like McDonald's is anything special, right? It's not like they've done something that many other companies have not done, like in terms of, rights violations or anything. There's so many companies still operating in Russia, Coca-Cola and stuff like that, and there's so many companies that have committed so many absolutely atrocious crimes, Nestle being one of them. I could literally make 17 videos just on Nestle with the amount of absolutely horrific stuff they've done with, they've been caught completely destroying the environment, taking clean water out of places that need them and communities that actually rely on them, all to just fund their massive corporation and sell it as bottled water. They obviously had the infamous baby milk controversy where they're basically selling poison to babies in impoverished communities because these impoverished communities didn't know you had to boil the water or something like that. It's super messed up. Just type like Nestle human rights violations, you'll find like 5 million of them. Listen, let me just be honest, okay? Russians absolutely do not care whether McDonald's is operating in their country or not. Their priority is dealing with the absolute head trauma of being demonized by the entire world for literally doing nothing. It's their government. And you can say citizens and government are the same thing, but are they really? Are they? I'm pretty sure there's plenty of Russian families that are just minding their own business, going about their day, and all the commodities that they're buying, their prices have just soared, and they're struggling to even survive because of the massive sanctions imposed on Russia. Russians literally can't even use like Apple Pay, Google Pay, or their bank cards to pay for Netflix or Spotify. They're literally all trying to withdraw money from the banks because Russian currency is completely dropping and the banks aren't allowing them to do it. It is a complete hectic situation, and Twitter somehow thinks that the burger chain is responsible for all of this. Now, some people are still bringing up the fact that the US is still doing business with Russia. They're buying $720 million worth of oil every day. This guy's like, why don't you boycott the president? That's also not the solution, all right? It's actually independent companies that are buying these things. It's not like all influenced by the president. And I think a lot of people have absolutely no idea of the massive monopoly that big companies have over your everyday life. Look at this chart over here, okay? Tell me how many products you recognize, identify with. I know so many of these products, and I had no idea that, you know, Coca-Cola is responsible for them, or Nestle is responsible for them, alright? When you hear the name Pepsi, you think their only product is Pepsi. But no, it's literally all of this stuff. It's literally a few companies that have this massive monopoly over everything, okay? Boycotting McDonald's is not gonna do anything. You got tweets like these: guess who is doing business as normal in Russia? No surprise, hashtag boycott McDonald's. Yeah, the evil Russian citizens. How dare they buy a burger? Literally, like, how incredibly stupid and brain dead do you have to be to think that this is the major problem that needs to be addressed? And you know, this all comes down to the classic Twitter problem of just virtue signaling and trying to appear as if you're doing something good without actually helping anyone. Why don't you do something remotely useful? Donate to Ukraine. You know, you have money to spend on McDonald's, you have money to donate to Ukraine. I mean, if you're gonna go on twitter.com and pretend you care about these issues, at least don't be stupid about it. The energy of this absolute outrage can be directed in so many useful ways, but they decide just not to. Also, let me just give you guys a general note of what happens when you try to boycott a massive company. You literally end up making such an insignificant dent that it doesn't even matter. Let's look at this situation. Russians just stop eating at their McDonald's, right? They're like, I'm done with this, okay? You're contributing to the war. Do you think the war is magically going to stop? Do you think the 700 burgers that, I don't know, translated into one army tank in real time, by the way, the second you hand the money to the cashier, instantly goes into the tank vehicle, I don't know, and then transforms into the materials required to build a tank, and it's built in real time, and it's fired at Ukraine? Apparently that's how it works. You think you're gonna flip the war by not buying McDonald's? This is literally what goes down in a Twitter user's head. The Ukraine is gonna be like, that's right, baby. They don't have McDonald's anymore. It's time to strike back. We've hit them where it really hurts, you know? Hit their fast food burgers, baby. Listen, it's a completely pointless ordeal, and you're getting mad over nothing, as usual, as you do on twitter.com. Now, if you want actual reasons as to why you should boycott McDonald's, how about you just do it for your health? Listen, some of those nuggets, some of them burgers may be delicious, but that food is basically a recipe for a heart attack. I don't know, do you want to end up on the American obesity statistic? Keep eating McDonald's. Listen, don't let people guilt trip you into thinking you're doing something bad, okay? We are probably doing some really bad stuff. Like, you know, some clothes you buy were probably made really unethically, you know? Your iPhone is probably put together by some kid, you know, which you don't want to think about. If you start thinking about these little things, your life is going to be absolute hell, and chances are you will just explode from the inside of complete guilt. So here's my message to you. If you're craving some nuggets, go get them, okay? For me, I'm going to stay away for the rest of my life because Crohn's disease. I literally cannot eat anything without dying. People are literally making these gigantic lists. Coke and Pepsi are still doing business in Russia. I won't buy any of either company's products until they halt operations in Russia and stop supporting his war crimes. That's right, Tristan is gonna save the world, baby. Coke's products to boycott: Coca-Cola, Sprite, Fanta, Dasani. Okay, the Dasani, I gotta agree with, man. Listen, nobody should be buying Dasani for any reason whatsoever. You could pay me money and I wouldn't take Dasani. I don't know where they get their water from, but it's so incredibly bad. I don't know if you guys have ever tasted Dasani. My lord, how they have the audacity to call that water beyond me. Pepsi products to boycott: Pepsi, Gatorade, Mountain Dew, Aquafina, all Frito-Lay's chips, Doritos, Tostitos, Cheetos. Yeah, Americans are gonna definitely boycott Cheetos, right? It's like they think they've discovered this massive thing. They're like, oh wow, oh, if I just stop eating these products, all the world's hardships would be over. It's not how it works. You're so stupid. I can't stand this anymore. Okay, I'm leaving before I get mad.